Hello, and welcome to the channel. My name's Teeter, and today we're going to be playing Stacklands 2000, which is the new DLC for the base game Stacklands. The info tool at the start says, "Thank you for purchasing Stacklands 2000 DLC. The Industrial Revolution has come, and your small dwelling is turned into a large present-day city. Manage your city's well-being, connect infrastructure, use factories to produce advanced materials, and more. The content is accessible after having enough food surplus on the mainland." Okay. So we're just going to continue the run that we have from previous videos. I did hop in here to see what would trigger this, and of course we have food surplus beyond your wildest dreams because we are absolutely cooking on the save file. But that said, when you end your moon, when having enough of a surplus, however much that would be, I'm not sure, you can prompt this. Place a villager on top of this card to start the Industrial Revolution. So let's do exactly that. So like the other DLCs, and we just got into a battle for some reason, but like the other DLCs, this takes you to a new broken out area where you get new packs and start playing to progress your city. Hi there, and welcome to the modern city. I am the city advisor. I'll come by every once in a while to help you manage your city. Good luck. Alright, so to start, we have workers that don't have housing, so they lose happiness. They have this house icon over them saying they need a house. Give it a home before the end of the moon in order to not lose well-being. Right. So we have two workers that need two houses, 2 out of 0, and they don't need to be fed. I think the houses themselves need food provided. So once we start building houses, they will need food. This is our money, $20 right here. Card cap 3 of 25, and we start with 15 well-being. New types of deposits. Gravel deposit will produce gravel. Lumber deposit will produce wood or lumber. Trash produces random items, and rain can be harvested for water. So we'll go ahead and get these deposits open. Just like in the main game, we will sell our base deposits to get money. We'll use that money to buy our first resource pack. And as you'll see, I have some packs discovered already. I started playing a save file on this to demonstrate it, and I managed to record with no audio. So I have a bit of a sneak preview into what goes into this, but that's okay. So we'll just keep buying these basic booster packs to start. We get some grain, some water, a water deposit, and trash. A large deposit of water. Rain can be deposited or harvested for water. We'll harvest both of the trash pieces. We'll break out what we're getting here at the top. More water. Oh, this is a foil water, so we'll sell it for money and buy another pack. Keep our money up there. Got some gravel, a gravel deposit or two, and a lumber deposit, and another water deposit. Break open these trash. Metal scraps and muesli. Grainy breakfast, the food of the future. Future! Break up our deposits. We'll sell these as they come apart. Sell our gravel, buy some more packs. Lumber. Another gravel deposit, another thing of trash. Sell all the gravel, sell all the lumber, because we know where to get more, right? Break open this trash. Iron bar. Now we do have to make a house, or some kind of place to live. So the first thing you can make is a shack. Cement, lumber, and a worker. Cement is made by combining gravel with water, both of which you can get from basic precious resources packs that we keep buying. So just as before, I'm going to open up the packs. Put our metal scraps together. We'll put somebody under some trash. Up our water deposits, I suppose. Here's some gravel. Here's some water. That'll make some cement for us. Put our second worker on the lumber deposit. So for the shack, we need cement and lumber. So we're about to get lumber from here, and we're about to get cement from here. Put a worker on it, and they should make an apartment. Or rather, a shack. Barely livable space, or barely livable currently has 1 space. So you can put 3 workers into 1 shack, 1, 2, and then 1 extra spot. That's why it says 1 on top there. I guess I can start breaking open some of these water deposits. So we get in here. Oh, look at that. More water deposits. So we'll just print some water for now. And go ahead and sell it as it comes. We have housing. We have enough food. We're under our card cap. We're doing just fine. And our moon's about to end. Your happiness stayed the same this moon. Or well-being, I guess, stayed the same. So we'll look at the quests in order, because obviously we've been playing this before, but remove the trash. We've been doing that by breaking it down. Make a shack to house your workers. We just did. Build a farmland. So one of the things you get as you open these packs is ideas. And we would have gotten the idea for farmland by now. So using 1 gravel, 2 lumber, and a worker, we can make a farmland. And look at that. We already have 1 gravel and 2 lumber. We'll just have to steal a worker. Here we are. See what this amounts to. Farmland. Gives grain when harvested. So this will produce this grain right here. Over time. So we can make a couple of farms. Let's go ahead and spend our money making more precious resource packs. We are. We'll just keep getting the resources to break open for now. More grain, more lumber, another water deposit, another lumber deposit. So I'll break down the lumber deposits for now. Oops. And some more things of trash to break open. Grain, more lumber deposits, another water deposit, more lumber. Now we have enough room for another worker. I think if you put money on a shack, $20, it will recruit a new worker. So now we have 3 workers, enough to feed them. I'll go ahead and put him on trash duty for now. Credit card. A card that holds money. Interact to withdraw money. So this is our bank. Go ahead and put that up near the export piece. More metal scraps. Now, one thing we would have learned by now, if we were playing the game and it was revealing stuff to us, is how to make factory parts. Factory parts are made by combining metal scraps with gravel, which I don't actually have at the moment. Sell some of our lumber to see if we can't get a gravel deposit or just gravel. We got both. We also got another lumber deposit, which I'll break apart. The shack we don't need to interact with, so I'll toss it in the corner here. And we're producing all kinds of grain from our farmland. So now with our gravel and our metal scraps, we'll go ahead and construct a couple factories, just with 1 gravel and 1 metal scrap. Or factory parts, rather. And then with the factory parts, if you have 2 of them and you put a worker on it, I believe that's what makes a factory. Factory needs electricity and it needs a worker. So we have a worker. We don't have a way to make electricity yet. So one of the things that we learned to make pretty quick, I believe. Oh, power up. Connect an energy cable. Build a water wheel. So if we go to energy, the first thing I think you learn to make is a water wheel or a wind turbine. But we don't have any wind yet. Water wheel, 3 lumber and 1 water makes a water wheel. So we have 2 water up here. We can break down a water deposit for more water. Also start combining water and gravel to make cement. We'll need that in a little bit. Oh, it was 3 lumber and 1 water. We won't have time to convert this, so we'll have to sell some cards. We have 3 cards, too many. I'll just sell the water because we're pretty much printing it from the water deposits. We'll start our new moon. Here's our water wheel. Generates energy from water. We need to put water into it. So if we just put water into the water wheel, that will obviously power the water wheel for 1 piece of energy. At the top here, we can switch to our energy menu and use this to power our factory if a worker is in it. And one thing you can make in the factory is this muesli, which is one of the ideas I got from one of the early packs. If we go to cooking, it says muesli can be made by putting grain into a factory. So I'm just going to take all the grain that's coming from my farmland and I'll put it into this factory. And if we switch to our transport menu at the top, we can actually set up a road to automatically do that. So now, every time our farmland produces food, it'll put it right into the factory. Now, I don't want all of my water going into a water wheel like this, but you can make a water pump from a water source. All you need from that, as we learn from the idea of extraction, combine a deposit like rain or a water deposit, factory parts in a worker to make a source of that thing. So if we take our credit card, we'll firstly see if we can't get other deposits to do this with. We have a gravel deposit and a water deposit. We have 3 metal scraps. Metal scraps, as we know, when combined with gravel, will make factory parts. And I think we can get 3 pieces from 1. So we'll just take 2 right now, because we want to use the deposit to make a source for this. Gravel deposit, factory parts in a worker. Water deposit, factory parts, and a worker. We have 3 workers. One's in the farmland, one's in the factory. I'd say they're nice and busy, so we will leave them be. Gravel pit, an infinite source of gravel, requires a worker, of course. And water pump, an infinite source of water, requires a worker. So we put a worker in the water pump and we switch to our transport section. We can actually transport the water directly into the water wheel. And thus, it'll be permanently powered up. So every time the water pump feeds into the water wheel, it'll power the factory for 1 full bar. And the water pump produces at the same rate that this generates energy and that this takes to make food. Now, another thing we could do if we really wanted to, which isn't the most sustainable when it comes to feeding our workers, is, of course, we could transport the exports of our factory. I was gonna say to the export, but you can't actually do that. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. At 1 card too many, we'll just sell a piece of grain. It won't be missed. Just in, there's gonna be changing weather conditions. Rain, 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 rain. Now we can just sell the rain, I suppose. We could break it down into water. I don't know how much water you get from the rain. One thing that we need is gravel. Our shack can't hold any more people, so if we want more workers, we'd have to build yet another shack. If we go back to here to building, we'll see that a shack requires cement, lumber, and a worker. We have cement. We have lumber. And we can borrow a worker. Probably from the water pump for now. Just have him build that. Very good, we'll put him back away. And we will put $60 in the shack to produce 3 workers. 3 more mouths to feed, of course, but that's okay. We can handle it. Build a second shack just for later. Here we are. Now we've got an abundance of workers to do whatever we want with. Firstly, we have the gravel pit that we can sustain with a worker, and we know how to make factory parts that can produce more sources of resources. Sources of resources. I was hoping to get lumber here because we want to get a lumber deposit to turn into a permanent deposit. Now I could make another water pump, I suppose. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just print water directly for use. So maybe we'll save one of the water deposits and do that. Once we get some gravel from our gravel pit here and do that, we can convert the water deposit into a permanent deposit. I guess I'll break down the rain, see how much water we get from the rain. It is more than a 1-to-1 relationship. We'll convert this into another water pump. And I guess I can put a worker into the water pump. And we'll just pump it straight into the factory this time. So that stacks on top of our grain and starts producing bread. 1 grain and 1 water makes the bread. 1 grain by itself makes muesli in a factory. Four cards too many. I guess we'll sell some water because we have an excess of water at the moment. Our well-being stayed the same this moon. Hooray. So we're off to a good start here. We're just breaking down some basic resources. We're getting a bunch of money. I have $200 in my credit card. I do want to keep breaking these down until I get a lumber source. Oh, we get another worker. It's a good thing we have our extra shack here. Got a shiny gravel. That'll pay for a new pack. And there's a lumber deposit at long last. Plastic. Don't really know what to do with plastic just yet, so we'll sell it. So I do want to make a wood pit, basically, or whatever the equivalent for making wood would be. So in our lumber deposit, we'll need gravel plus metal parts to make a factory part. So we'll have to, I guess, buy more packs for that. Break up these gravel deposits, and actually we'll do so near our gravel so that it all stacks together. Buy another pack, see if we can't get metal parts from this. Starting to look like we can't. Get another water deposit as well. We'll convert the water deposit into lumber deposits eventually. We have another gravel deposit. By now I think we would have unlocked the later packs, the Modern Solutions pack and the Major Metals pack. And I would prefer to buy the Major Metals pack, to be honest. So using our credit card, we'll put some money into the Major Metals pack. We'll get 1, 2, 3 of them. We'll spend all our money and see what we get. Iron ore, 2 things of metal scraps, and an iron deposit, which means that we can convert this also into a deposit of our choosing with more metal scraps. Copper ore, more iron ore, more metal scraps, and a copper deposit, something else we can convert into something permanent. And another iron deposit that we can just break down or we can convert if we care to power it up. Stack all my ore types together. 4 metal scraps, that makes 4 factory parts with 4 pieces of gravel. Of course, I've been selling all my gravel, so we'll have to let our workers get us some gravel over here. We are. 4 factory parts, 4 deposits that I would care to transfer into other usable sources of materials. Extra water pump for later to make water. Tree plantation. Iron mine and copper mine. So these actually require power themselves. We do have this water wheel here that can provide more power than it's already providing. Connect the top power connector for the water wheel to those. And we'll connect the bottom connectors to these iron mines and copper mines. So we now have a resource for gravel, a resource for water, a resource for wood, a resource for iron, and a resource for copper. We also have this extra iron deposit that I can break down. You'll notice that we're making a lot of the same items, like a lot of water, for example, is coming here. A lot of gravel is going to come out of this. A lot of wood is going to come out of that. One of the things you can learn to make early, well, 2 things. One is a food warehouse, and another is a storage container, which I forget where that is shown. Am I looking right at it? Storage. Automation. 2 lumber, 1 metal scrap, and a worker gets you somewhere to store your stuff. And putting your cards into a storage container does not count toward your card cap that we are well in excess of. So it would be good to have something like that to store all of our cards that are in extra abundance. So I will invest in the major metals pack one more time. We got not 1, but 2 metal scraps. We'll use our workers to break down these deposits. The metal scraps will be used alongside 2 pieces of lumber and a worker in order to make what we're trying to make. Oh, and look, we got even more metal scraps. It's good. Here's a storage container. We'll put our gravel in here. And then using the transport road, we'll just transport the gravel that we're making into the gravel container. We're gonna make another container for our tree plantation. And same thing, we're just going to make some lumber. Actually, we can just buy some lumber, I guess, in here. More metal scraps, of course. But we will use a worker to break down the lumber deposit. Our gravel deposit handy, I suppose. So 1, 2, we got 2 pieces of lumber. We'll convert that into a place to store the lumber. And we'll just make a road to transport our tree plantation output into the storage container. I guess I'll store them vertically, just for easy visibility here. So we have an excess of water going to the factory. This isn't really useful. I mean, it is making a lot of bread for us. But, I need 12 food. These provide 4 food apiece. We can sell 3 of them safely. We actually have 18 food with the grain and stuff that we have, so we can sell even more safely. And I think that we're gonna end up selling a lot of our water here, because we're producing water faster than we're using it to make bread. We're still well over the card cap. So one thing that we'll work on doing the next day is building landmarks. One of the landmarks you can learn to build early is the City Hall. For 2 cement, 2 lumber, $10, and a worker, you can put $10 into this to increase your card cap by 2. You can also put workers in here to give them names, which I personally don't care about, but is a feature that you can opt into should you choose to. So we'll want to build the City Hall as soon as possible, and I guess we could build parks as well, because they'll contribute to our happiness. our well-being. But for now, we'll want to get some gravel and water to make cement, and then we can turn the cement into City Hall alongside lumber and $10. But we'll have to do that tomorrow because we're running out of time. But I want to increase our card camp. We have 5 cards too many. Sell 5 cards. Well, the only cards that I pretty much can sell are the scraps, the pieces in our factory, so I'll just sell the water. 3 cards too many. We could sell the deposits, or we can sell what's been coming from the deposits. We have a source of lumber, so we'll put the lumber away. I do want to keep the metal scraps because I don't know how to reliably get them. And we do have an infinite source of iron, so I guess I get rid of the iron ore. And one more card. We'll just take one of the... Well, I want to keep the bars, I think. Actually, let's get rid of our food. We'll be getting more food from our farmland. Okay, so we're still pumping water into the factory and pumping food into the factory from the farmland. I'll use this worker to break down these items here. I don't have a storage container for iron ore just yet. That's another one that we could make. Which again, the storage containers are made from the metal parts and lumber. So we have some lumber up here, 2 pieces of lumber and a metal scrap. We'll toss this worker on there when the time comes to store our iron away. Here we are. So just as before, we'll place these vertically. I think iron's cheaper or whatever than copper, so we'll put it first. And we'll just make a transport road from its output to the beginning of this storage container's input. We'll toss a worker in here to start producing iron. Now I do have this gravel deposit. I guess we'll just scrap it because it's not really serving me. So our water pump is producing way faster than the farmland. I guess that means I can make 1 or 2 more farmlands. We would need more employees to power that, but we'd have more food coming out, which would be good for our workers, especially because we need to produce enough food to keep everybody fed, which we, I guess, have done by converting the muesli or the grain into bread. It doubles its food output. But I think getting more farmland to make more food will be a good thing for us. So again, we'll just look up how to make a farmland from our ideas. 1 gravel, 2 lumber, and a worker. 1 gravel, 2 lumber, and a worker. And we have room for 2 more workers, so actually we can do this twice, should we choose to. Except I'll need another piece of lumber. We'll wait until the day ends here. I'm actually gonna have to sell a lot of this stuff if I take it out. So let me put some of my cards away here. And I think we're gonna end up selling a bunch of water at day's end here. 3 cards too many. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, our card production is getting out of hand a little bit. So we will have to make a city hall to allow us to boost our card camp. 2 cement, 2 lumber, and a worker. 2 cement means water and gravel. So 2 pieces of gravel. Let our water pump produce 2 more pieces of water. Here's 1. Pretty quickly, here's another. 2 cement. I believe it was 2 lumber and $10. And a worker. I guess I'll pay a worker to come live with us. Here we are. And $10. And here's our city hall. City hall needs to be powered as well. We'll look at what our options are for making energy. First thing that you can make is a hamster wheel. Using a piece of metal scraps and a worker in lumber, you can put a worker in there just to produce energy the same way that a water wheel will, but it only produces one energy and uses one worker. You could do the same thing with a water pump and a water wheel. So once you learn how to make the water wheel, you just take 3 pieces of lumber and a water pump, one of which I have pre-made. Take our 3 pieces of lumber and we'll toss it on top of a piece of water with a worker. This will make the water wheel. And then if you put a worker in the water pump, transport the water to the water wheel, and then switch to your energy menu to put a piece of energy on City Hall, you can power City Hall. And it will add to your happiness on the first day, I believe. Landmark in the city for the first time, +1 well-being, but also we can put money in here to increase our card cap. I've increased it to 39. I think I'd like to increase it even further to 59. Huge investment of money. It expands the board, but it also allows us to have a bunch more stuff, which is great. So we have 1 more space left for a worker to move in. We have enough food to feed our workers already, but I do want to make another farmland right away. Remind ourselves how to make a farmland. 1 gravel, 2 lumber, a worker. 1 gravel, 1 lumber. I need another piece of lumber. We won't get it by end of day, actually, so I'll put my cards... Oh, I don't need to put my cards away. Habit, I suppose. Uh-oh, I think my game crashed. Nope, just kidding. I was calculating my well-being. +1 from City Hall. There'll be changing weather conditions. Nice. Earthquake. That doesn't sound very nice. So the rain produces water, as we saw. I suppose I can spare a worker to harvest the water. I do want to get 1 more worker, so go ahead and put $20 more on the shack. Our money away. The worker can break down the rain. Structures were damaged. Uh-oh. It's $20 to repair. That's unfortunate. Card is damaged and needs to be repaired. Does it mean it doesn't work anymore? Until then? Yeah, okay, so it's just out of use. Same with our storage. Okay, that's no good. So, 20 bucks. 20 bucks. 20 bucks. Don't misconstrue this. 20 bucks. Okay, so now we are hurting for money, but that's okay. We have a worker getting us some water. These are complaining about not having power because the water pump was temporarily disabled. That's expected. That'll get back online once this water gets produced. I could put water in there directly also. I guess is worth considering. The sunshine will boost our happiness if we keep it until the end of the day, so we'll do just that. Let's see, we could produce copper, I suppose. Why was I saving the lumber and gravel? I needed 2 lumber and a gravel to make... the farmland I still have searched. We'll go ahead and make the farmland then, and we'll increase our food output by putting another worker in a farmland. We'll put that right next to here. And I guess we'll feed that food into the factory as well. So if 2 sources of food and 1 source of water going into the factory, this should be making bread constantly. Constantly. Which is excellent, because bread feeds for twice as much as grain does on its own, but it also sells for 50 instead of just 10 or 10. 10 from water, 10 from grain, or 50 from bread. So we've got enough food to feed all of our workers and then some, which is nice. End of moon 8. I've gained 1 wellness. And we started the day with an extra bread, so I'll just sell it right away for some money. And now we want to think of expanding our production even further. So we're producing all this iron ore, gravel, lumber endlessly, water endlessly, etc. If we look at our quests, after building a water wheel, it wants you to connect low voltage connectors, as we have for powering things like our factory and our mines. Drill for oil we'll be doing soon. Harvest grain, make factory parts, make a tree plantation, and build a city park. We haven't done that yet, but that's just something to increase your happiness. Build a landfill. Build a villager statue. Reach 30 well-being. Build a storage container. Connect a transport road as we have to move things around. Have 5 connected, which I think we may have already. Build a barracks, train a soldier. I haven't seen a use for that. Or hadn't seen a use for that, so we'll ignore that for now. And these basically just say to kind of progress through the packs and find more stuff. So we'll look at the packs real quick, just because I did have a handful of them unlocked already. So in the first one, you get your gravel and deposit, lumber and deposit, metal scraps, trash, water and deposit, and a worker. You can randomly get workers. For the modern solution pack, you can get cement directly, or you can make it using gravel and water. You can get a credit card, as we did, get grain, which we're producing, get gravel, which we're producing, a hamster wheel, which is like putting a person into a wheel, like similar to the water pump, but instead of producing water, it produces 1 energy. The water pump into a water wheel can produce 3 energy. So this combination is like a hamster wheel, but just using an extra card and the same amount of worker, you can get 3 energy instead of 1. Lumber, which we're producing, metal scraps again, a storage container, which we made, trash that we can break down for random items, water, which we're producing, and a worker. So we don't really need to buy this pack anymore. The major metal packs we already started buying. Get copper deposit from a copper ore, iron deposit from an iron ore, grain, which we're producing, gravel, which we're producing, lumber, which we're producing, metal scraps, which we get from all the different packs, trash, which we get from all the random packs, water, which we're producing, and a worker. So we also don't need this anymore. So I guess we can move on to the Department Defense packs. This gets you grain, which we're producing, gravel and deposit, lumber and deposit, metal scraps, trash, water and a deposit, everything we've seen before. But this is what starts getting you ideas for the military. All this stuff. First thing you're going to see is the barracks. Using 2 cement and an iron bar and a worker, you can make a building that converts workers into soldiers. This is for if you get your wellness high enough to start getting attacked, which I haven't done yet. So I think we're going to skip this for now as well, because until we start getting into trouble with things attacking us, this doesn't really do me any favors. So right now, I think the best thing to do would just to be continue producing things so that we can sell them and start getting these black gold packs. We could also try to get more workers. One of the things that you can unlock pretty early on is an idea for a robot station. Using 3 factory parts, 2 cement, and a worker, you can house robot workers. So I made this kind of early. And what happens when you make this early is you learn that it holds 10 robot workers that do not require food. Which is incredible, really. I currently have 6 workers, 1 at the tree plantation and gravel pit, 1 at the iron mine and copper mine, which I think I'm going to move up here. We're going to do some shifting around here. Iron container. I don't have a copper container yet. Look at that, because no one's powering the copper mine. Water pump and wheel. Do another water pump and wheel combination here. This water pump is going into the factory alongside our farmland. I guess I'll just do one above, next to, and below the 3 inputs here. My water is still outpacing my grain, I believe. which is a little bit annoying, but nothing we can't work around. Let's see. Water pump takes 30 seconds, farmland takes a full minute. You would think that these two would keep pace with one water pump, but as we've kind of seen, it hasn't really been the case. Now, we're just keeping the lights on at City Hall, because it ruins our happiness if at the end of the day this isn't powered up. If we look at other ideas that we have, we can craft apartments that house 5 workers instead of 3, but they also produce waste. That's what the landfill is for. Oh, remove pollution from the city at a landfill. 3 gravel and 1 metal scrap. This will be important later, but I will take this and make a landfill. Of course, we'll need a worker for that, so we'll borrow this worker, powering City Hall. Do this. Removes pollution from the city. Has a chance of creating poop when not connected to sewers. Uh-oh, so I need to make a septic tank. I forgot about this. Septic tank. Cement, water, and worker. Okay. So now we're going to start needing to make water, it seems. So I'll just steal it from the factory, if I'm honest. We'll make some muesli for now. So we'll need 2 pieces of this, 1 piece of gravel to make cement, another piece of water to make this. I hope the landfill doesn't... Oh, okay. It made poop already. So, can I somehow put poop into there? This can go into here. I don't know what to do with the poop now. I hope it doesn't ruin my well-being. I guess it might, because I don't know how else to get rid of poop. Let's see what other buildings we can make. Convert sewage into water. 3 cement, 2 plastic. I don't want to make plastic yet. Septic tank we just made. Robot station we looked at already. Luxury apartment. Fancy. Removes pollution from city. Is a very nice prospect. Can only hold 10 pollution. Okay, worth knowing. I guess we can make multiple landfills if we start producing in the factory enough. 2 cement, 2 iron bar, 2 copper bar, and a worker makes an academy. I do have 2 iron bars. I wonder if I could put those to use in any way that is good for us. Copper bars make a villager statue. Iron bars can make a stadium. I guess we can make 2 city parks, just because I accidentally made poop. We'll just cancel out the poop. Of course, I'll need more lumber than that to accomplish that, so we'll buy hopefully a lumber deposit in here. 2 pieces of lumber and a piece of trash. We're gonna have to power City Hall here sooner than later. There's a copper bar. Here's our city park. Here's a water deposit, which can honestly just go toward the factory for all I care. That right over there. How much extra food do we have? At least 8. I'll sell 8 right away. Oh, it's +2 for the city park. Okay, so this already cancels out the poop. Maybe I'll make one more to push us to 19. 4 lumber. 1, 2. And a worker. Oh wait, you can only have 1 city park, I believe. You've already built this landmark. I see. Never mind. We waste our city park on a piece of poop. Poop bread, poop bar. It looks stinky. Yeah, I didn't mean to produce poop. Oh, and I lost a well-being because my city hall stopped being powered. That's a shame. Now we're back down to 16. That's tragic. My worker wasn't producing more water and I stopped paying attention. Oh well. Okay, so let's put our septic tank to good use. So one thing that you need the septic tank for is for when you start making storage like apartments, for example. Because the apartments produce waste. So firstly, we'll make an apartment. Also, if you combine 3 shacks, you'll make slums, which I think is a bad thing. In the city, you get -1. If it's not able to consume 4 food, you get -1 happiness from that too. Okay, so maybe I didn't want to do this, as it turns out. But that's okay. We'll just make 2 apartments if we can manage. I'll just need more water. We are producing water already. All of our workers are now homeless. That's okay. I think we'll be able to remedy that before the end of the day. This water pump that's feeding into the factory we can actually use to produce gravel, which is what we'll do. I'll use this worker to produce the apartments, which we're going to have to power, and we're going to have to export sewage from. The power will come from our water wheel, and we'll do that to a second apartment as well. And then their waste will go into this septic tank. So if we do sewer, we can just power it like so. So this holds 5 workers. We have 9 workers to house. We'll have to make 1 more of these by end of day. So we'll start making some cement. There's 1 piece of cement. There's 2 pieces of cement. And lastly, with 1 piece of water and a gravel, we'll have 3 pieces of cement. Fashion this into an apartment. The apartment needs to be powered as well, so we'll get this worker back on powering duty right away. And then we'll just have to put the sewage from this into this septic tank. So there we have all of the power from the water wheel in use. And we now have enough storage for all of our workers, plus 1 more. We have more than enough food for our workers as well, so technically, we could produce another worker. I don't know if putting money on an apartment will produce a worker. It doesn't look like it. We'd have to get another shack, I suppose, or stumble into another worker in a pack. However, at the end of the 10th moon here, I think we're looking pretty good. We're well below our card cap. Oh. Doesn't have housing. Oh. Is that a bug? Five workers for cheap, 5 workers for cheap. Why did this say they don't have housing? It's because I didn't connect the power. Oh, brother. What a miss by me. Okay, so now we're hemorrhaging happiness because because I didn't power up the apartment. But watch, the second I power these up, second this gets water in the water wheel, that goes away. Oh my goodness. Oh well, I was gonna stop after that day, but instead, I guess we'll play 1 more day. I kind of want to do damage control and try to buy happiness. Of course, you can buy happiness with an art gallery. Converts 50 money into an artwork. 1 artwork is 1 happiness. So using lumber, which we're producing, and metal scraps, which we can buy, we can try our best to buy back the happiness of our people. 3 metal scraps is exactly what I would have hoped for there. The iron deposit can produce some iron for us. Using workers, I don't care to spare, so we'll just sell that. But 3 metal scraps is lovely. 3 lumber, 1, 2, 3. Toss that on a metal scrap source right there. And we will take which worker? Great question. I guess we'll just take the iron worker because we have 18 iron ore for no reason. We'll produce the art gallery. We'll say, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. Put a bunch of money in there, produce some art, and hopefully all will be forgiven. Also put him back on iron duty, I guess. Actually, I'll put him on copper duty and then give me a reason to make a copper container. Storage container again, 2 lumber and 1 metal scrap. We can easily accommodate like so. Put the worker in the mine, and of course we'll make a transport from the mine to the storage, as we've been doing this whole time. And now it looks like our water production and our grain production are, well, I guess they're still keeping pace, but looks kind of funny. There'll be changing weather conditions. Financial crisis. Tension rise and the global market has crashed. All packs are more expensive. Okay, I guess we're not buying packs today, which is fine because we don't have any money. We did get rain again, and lightning can smelt ores instantly. So we have copper or iron bars and a copper bar here. If we take this copper ore that we have and just put the lightning on it, we'll see that it will immediately make a copper bar. And I can't tell if, I guess that didn't produce any pollution because it was natural. Now we can use a worker to split this rain out if we wanted. I guess that could be good for our factory here. So once this worker is done producing water, we'll just use the same worker to take out the rain, put it into our factory, and we'll put him back on the pump there. So we'll keep making this bread that's worth a lot of food. We only need 2 pieces of bread to feed everybody, so we can sell this for money. 320 money to be exact. But I think we're pretty much just printing money and food right now, which is good. Establishing a bit of a foothold up front. I think we do want to make another factory, so we'll eventually put money into the major metals container. I guess this is, I'll make this video an hour long. We'll go for a couple more days here. But yeah, so we can put some money into the major metals pack just to get back ahead to where we were. And I want to make sure that we get some metal scraps to make another factory. So here are 3 metal scraps. I wouldn't mind getting a total of 4 scraps for that. 4 scraps, 2 copper ore, 3 iron ore. Put these in their respective containers. We have a piece of trash to break up. We will take the worker from this water pump to do that. Got an iron bar from the trash, not too shabby. Guess we'll break down the iron deposit as well. Free $60 there. And another free $60 here. Back on water duty. Now, again, we can store these, or we can sell them in a time of duress. I don't think we're in a time of duress. The metal scraps we can turn into factory parts using gravel. We'll just take 1 piece of gravel and put it on each of these metal parts. Actually, I don't want to make... I'll only make 1 more factory. We can make factory workers using metal scraps and iron bars. We will need a place to store them though, so we'll kind of future-proof this. These will go into our factory once it's made. Robot workers get stored at a robot station that require 3 factory parts, 2 cement, and a worker. So I guess we need even more metal parts after all. We'll take all the money from here into the major metals pack. We got more iron ores and copper ores, which isn't what I was hoping for. We'll let this guy... Oh, never mind. I'll say we'll let that guy produce 1 more water, but got ahead of myself. Here's another metal scrap. Guess we'll just print some money right here. Make ourselves a factory. This will need energy, which we can't spare with either of the water wheels that we have thus far. So I'll have to make something to actually power this factory in a little bit as well. But I'll go ahead and use more gravel to make another, factory part. That'll end our moon. We'll do 1 more day. I'd hate to end on day 13. Some consider that to be an unlucky number. So lastly, 1 more purchase into the major metals pack. We do get 2 more pieces of metal scraps in an iron deposit. I will immediately convert these into gravel. Also need gravel and water to make cement. So I'll take 2 pieces of gravel. We'll power up this water pump here and just steal the water from the food production. I'm going to sell all my bread that we've made, because now we're making muesli, which is worth a little bit less. But that's okay. We're focused on production for the moment. There's a piece of cement. Here's another piece of cement. This is the wrong resource. We need the factory parts and cement to make the robot station. I think this is also going to require power. That it does. So we have 2 things that require power. Perfect reason to make a water wheel and pump combination again. The pump comes from a water source. The wheel comes from 3 lumber and a piece of water. So we'll put this worker back in here. We'll still steal 3 pieces of lumber, and we'll wait for a piece of water to be produced from the water pump. And actually, we're producing so much food now that we are in excess of our card cap, which is really something. Hopefully our worker can build this before the day ends. It looks like he will. And then this will be used to power, if I connect my energy correctly. Oh wait, the robot station requires high voltage. Okay, this is a problem. We'll have to make another water wheel and have another worker to power it. That's okay. That'll be where we start in episode 2 on day 15, I believe. For now, we'll just finish out our day. End of Moon 14, our happiness stayed the same. 18, well-being, unhappy. That's okay, it's just workers and factories. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed our first peek into Stacklands 2000, the latest DLC for my beloved card game, Stacklands. Sorry that it was in progress. Hopefully as the episodes continue, we'll be discovering new stuff together. We'll see what the rest of the DLC has to hold, how to automate stuff effectively, and how to really sink our teeth into all that's here. But I thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy content like this, please feel free to check out the other content on my channel, or come on by my Twitch streams, where we play games like Stacklands and many others all the time. I thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I hope you take care. Bye now.